got Fourth Amendment so clutch, I know. Basically, you can get a cold shoulder. Long as no smell or no evidence, no nervousness, and you sober. You remain firm and you stand your ground and just stand by till it's over. Most get intimidated, really no point. Just know when you see that blue, they gon' try to teach you knowledge. You ain't gotta go to college, just know all the laws for you. I know half the time boys be scared, like what the hell wrong, what the hell we gon' do? Boys better make like milk from the stove in the fridge, yeah, gotta keep cool. They know just what to say to you, they know just how they do. But do not go and play the fool, expect them to pursue. No probable cause anywhere, there's nothing they can do. I hope you boys is listening, I'm telling you the truth. So, go big.
Can y'all hear me?
Go big. Go big.
Hopefully.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Tulsa. Good morning, Oklahoma. Good morning to our listeners all over the world. Welcome to another episode of Four Corners of the Law. I am your host, Johnny James, and with me, as usual, is our co-host, Tanya Thomas. And this morning, we have with us a live special guest, Anthony James. Anthony, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself real quick to the people? Here's. Can you hear us, Anthony?
I can't hear me.
Can you hear me? Hello? All right. Well, while he gets that straightened out. So, hold on 1 second. So Anthony is an attorney from New Jersey who practices criminal defense, some civil rights, a couple of other things. Can you hear us now? Hello? All right.
There he goes.
We can hear you, Anthony.
I can't hear now.
There we go. We can hear you. Can you hear us? Turn your volume up. Can you hear us?
He can't hear us. He can't hear us. We can only hear him. That's what he just said.
What about now? All right. We lost him, so we'll give him a quick second to get back on. We have a packed show for you today where we can get Mr. James back on the air. So we've got a couple of topics that we're going to be covering and going over. Here he goes, right here.
There we go.
All right, we good?
Yeah, man. The devil didn't want me to be busy and give y'all this work today, but we here. Yeah.
All right. I hear you. I'm saying, can you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
Yes. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Trap Lawyer, lawyer from New Jersey. I'm bringing the trap out, man. Simply stated, man. Let's go.
Well, so I was telling him a little bit about what we got. I was got to start telling him what we have going on today. One of the topics that Anthony provoked, he wants to defend his guy, Mr. Gunna, out there. So we're going to talk about that today. Maybe get into a couple of other things with some with the Bootsy case, with his federal indictment going down in California. And if we have time, we might get into one more, the YNW Melly, but that's all time dependent.
First and foremost, I want to go on the record and state, let the record reflect that Gunna is not my guy. Okay, I love YSL. I love the music. I'm a big fan of hip hop, but I'm also a big fan of truth and reality. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking this stance just so we can shed some light on the dichotomy between the stories that we get and the truth that's out there. You know what I mean?
And just letting you guys know from a legal standpoint what's going on, and so you can be more educated, more informed about what's actually taking place out there.
100%.
So, with that being said, you ready to get started?
We can start with that.
Warm up. Okay.
Yeah. Just dive in, get it started a little bit.
Okay. Yes, we can all hear now. Okay. So what we're going to be discussing, our first topic, is Gunna. So just to give you guys some brief background facts. So right now, Young Thug, one of the founding members of YSL, is currently on trial, facing in a state indictment. So not a federal indictment, but a state indictment involving a RICO. One of the counts that he is charged in, count one, the conspiracy to commit the RICO, is the only count that Gunna is charged in with him. and that's the count that he pled to. So
Correct.
basically, Gunna pled guilty on December 15th via an Alfred plea. He pled guilty to conspiracy to commit RICO. So that's what we're going to pick up. Did his plea agreement, or did him entering into the plea, did he harm Young Thug's case? Did he snitch on him? Did he violate the laws?
Not did he harm the case. Did he snitch? All right. Did he snitch? That's what I want to know. The streets want to know. Is it considered snitching? What the acts that he committed?
All right. So we're going to give you, as the guest, we're going to give the opportunity to present your art. Wait, hold on. What's that? Yeah.
For the people who don't know, what's an Alfred plea?
Oh, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna let Gunna's lawyer explain to y'all.
Oh, here you go, bro. Listen. Okay, I am in no way, shape, or form, condoning any acts that Gunna may or may have not committed. Okay, it's all speculation at this point. So we're gonna see what's up. Okay. Hold on. Let me put my. Forgive me, my notes just went away.
All right, take your time.
Okay. Yes. So like we well know, what Gunna took was called an Alfred plea, right?
Right.
In its core, hold on. Yes. So in its core, what an Alfred plea allows you to do is a plea of guilty, containing a protestation, or you're protesting that you're innocent, right? So at its core, what you're saying is, all right, y'all got enough evidence that the jury is likely to say that I'm guilty, even if I am innocent. I don't have enough evidence on my side to say that what you guys are saying is wrong. You know what I mean? So that's what an Alfred plea is at its core.
Basically, a guilty plea under protest.
Correct.
Pleading guilty. Some people enter an Alfred pleas is basically a strategy thing. You know, you enter in the plea, you're saying that you're guilty, but you still didn't do it, but you feel like this may be the best option that you have at this point in time. So that's the gist of an Alfred plea. Sorry, go ahead.
First and foremost, so it's not the same as pleading guilty. You are not technically admitting guilt, admitting that you committed the act itself. It's just saying that, you know what, from the weight of the evidence,
right,
the jury is likely to say that I'm guilty. I don't want to have to go through that whole process. All right, so we're going to back out of it. That's what an Alfred plea is, right? So Gunna took what's called an Alfred plea. Per the terms of the deal, Gunna pleaded to one count of racketeering conspiracy. So that's the only count that he was charged for.
Correct.
Right? He was released, and afterwards, his sentence, the 5-year sentence that he was charged with, was commuted to time served. Right. So the Alfred plea at its best is admitting that because of the weight of the evidence, it's in my best interest to try not to fight it. Right.
Right.
In this individual case, I believe an Alfred plea was strategic. I can't say what the defendants knew or if they corroborated on it, but if they did corroborate on it, it was excellent. The reason why, I believe Young Thug hasn't spoken on it as of yet, even in the music that he put out, because it's a game plan. You know what I mean? And we're gonna move it strategically.
So you think it's a game plan, like they got together and they talked about that was the best route for him to take, especially given the fact that he was only charged in that one count and he had the bare minimum allegations.
I say this right now: YSL is hurting.
Right,
they hurt him, and it's evidenced by the fact that all of their the members aren't even staffed up. They all don't have lawyers. There's members of YSL right now who have public defenders who are on the news talking about, we want to make an OnlyFans because they're not Fulton County. Fulton County is not paying us enough. Shout out to everybody down in Fulton County. Y'all need to pay y'all public defenders more. All right,
that's everywhere. That's everywhere for that.
That's everywhere for that matter. But if we on a RICO case and all our members don't have staffed attorneys, there's a problem. Gunna is a cash cow. We need him outside making albums.
Well, that's part of what he had to acknowledge was basically when guys were getting arrested, when guys were getting locked up, they were depending upon him to get him out. That's part of what they were alleging as part of his overt acts of the conspiracy.
Understandable. And while you can argue that that's a that's a part of racketeering.
Mm-hmm.
It's not illegal to pay for your homies' bail.
That's true. That's true.
It ain't illegal to pay for your homies when they get in trouble. If I got the money and we together,
yeah,
and I can afford it, shit, why not?
So what happens if they, they told you beforehand or they called you on the phone and we discussed it, and then you go out and do it and I come bail you out? You view that as the same?
If they talk about what beforehand.
So they sit down, they have a discussion. Hey, we're about to go rob this bank. Okay, if you rob the bank, if you get caught, I got you. Is that still the same? Or is that actually part of the conspiracy?
I think you can argue, right? We'd argue that that makes it a little bit more a part of the conspiracy simply off the fact of the agreement beforehand. You know? But are you saying that that's the case?
So I don't know fully what all of the discovery is, but just on the information I've been able to pull up online, some of the documents that I've read, some of the pleadings, I was able to uncover that was one of the allegations that they had against them. Now, how far they go, they didn't put as a lot of detail into it, but that is what they put out there.
Let's make that as a disclaimer too. All the information that we're talking about right now is information that has been known to the public. We don't know what the defense knows that hasn't been released. We don't know what the prosecution knows. These are all legal arguments based upon the facts that are available to everyone. All right, not anything that. Okay, so if it turns out different, don't blame us. I just want to put that disclaimer out. All right, because, you know what I mean? Because it's different things. But I do think that yes, that's more of an argument. But it's a reach. If you look at the complaint, a lot of the so-called crimes or acts that they say are in furtherance of criminal activity are things that YSL or any music label does. If that's the case, just about every rapper rap about gang, music, gang ties, street affiliations, and all of that shit. Well,
but here's where they took it.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, no cursing. Sorry.
Forgive me.
I'm good. So in regards to that, one of the things that I believe made him, even though these are the things that the record labels do, these are the things that the gangs do, is that he specifically, when he played, he said YSL is a music label and a gang. And then on top of that, so I don't know what additional information he provided behind the scenes, but from reading some of the documents available on their court website, it appears as if he was explaining to them or giving them some light behind what these lyrics meant, what some of these scenarios meant, and so it was kind of filling in the holes in their cases. That was my takeaway from reading.
I don't know. That's a reach. First of all, it's not illegal to be in a gang. All right,
that is true.
Trap law is a gang. You dig? You know what I mean? It's a coalition of like-minded brothers and sisters on a mission that doesn't necessarily have to be illegal. But we all know illegality is interpreted in many different ways in America, right? We can go rape and pillage other countries, and that's fine and dandy. But if you steal some fruit and you hungry, oh, bro, you're the highest criminal in the land. So there's different ways to look at this thing, right? There's different ways to look at this thing. Okay, so the biggest thing, or the first point I want to make, is that Gunna's statement applies only to his case.
It applies to his case.
Only to the case he pleaded to.
So what do you mean the case he pleaded to? So
the plea deal applied to the sentence that he got commuted, right? For that one count that he was charged with.
Yes.
Correct, right?
Right.
Outside of that, and we're gonna get into this, it's my argument that it can't be used in a court against Young Thug without him being the one to give it.
Without who being the one to give it?
Gunna.
So while that may be partially true, the other side of that is it prevents, or it doesn't prevent, but it makes it hard for Young Thug to take the stand now, because if he lies, they can use that statement as impeachment evidence against him.
I personally wouldn't have Young Thug taking the stand anyway.
But even if he doesn't personally take the stand, if they begin to present in such a way, if his defense attorneys present in a way that they are twisting it different from what the what his acknowledgments were in his plea, then I feel like that would be grounds for them to bring that in for impeachment. Now, how they would get it in, that's something they would have to work out, but I do think it would at least be questionable.
Hey, listen, we can find as many motions as we want.
Yeah,
but undiscoverable evidence is undiscoverable evidence. All right, if it can't get in, I can say anything in the world I want to. Okay, yeah. O.J. Simpson right now can write a whole book about how he killed his wife. All right, if it can't get in, it can't get in. It don't matter.
He did say what if I did? What if I whatever his name?
Right. Hey, wrote a book. If I did do it, this is how I would have got away with it.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But all right, and if he would have had a code D, that wouldn't have been considered snitching.
Why?
You know what I'm saying? Because it can't be used in him. My thing is this: snitching is two people, right, who are engaged in illegal activity, right, who are both taking the risk for the reward, right?
Yes.
We get in trouble.
Yeah.
I make a statement that I knowingly will be used against you, and it can affect you negatively. Okay. Right? If I come up with a legal argument that can usurp the fact that, like, for instance, like the T.I. situation where T.I. said he blamed his gun case on his dead cousin.
Yeah.
If I'm your cousin, I'm dead. If you can get out of charge by putting it on me, it ain't gonna affect nobody that I have. Excuse my language. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Jump on that. Same situation here. We want Gunna back on the street.
Ain't nobody dead in this situation.
Ain't nobody dead in this situation. But if I can make a statement that legally, the legal argument is they can't use against Young Thug, but it gets me out, it gets the YSL music label still funded, so we can keep this machine going, because it's obvious the funds is running low. Everybody can't get in the same level of protection. Even one back. Go ahead. What you?
I got a question for you really fast. Yeah. On the plea, and like you're saying that he's not snitching strictly off of the plea he made, right? So what about him saying that the things that were in the car doesn't belong to him?
Hold on. We're going to get into these statements. Hold on. Don't answer that yet.
Wait. No, you asked the question. The door has been open. Okay? The door has been open. All right. So in 2017, Gunna and Young Thug are arrested in Bloodhaven, Peachtree, near the airport, right? A transcript shows that the arrest there's a third suspect who wasn't named, okay? So they're arrested for, drugs, guns, and etc. The third suspect says all of the drugs and the guns was his. Mm-hmm. Well, once he does that, there's nothing in the statement that isn't true. We already know that they were arrested. Right. We already know it's on camera that you were present. At first, let's preface the statement. The question was, were you present when? Which means anything that you asked me after that is predicated on, was I present? Right. So if I'm saying yes to the question, all I'm saying yes to is that I was present there. Correct. Yes, I was present. You have it on camera. I was present. Also, we all know that somebody else took the fall for the guns and the drugs. So yes, it wasn't mine. I'm not saying anything that's already not public record. I'm not saying anything that's not already in criminal record. I'm not saying anything that's not already a fact. So there's no snitching going on. I didn't uncover any evidence that you didn't already know.
But here's the thing. So that's a good distinction. But the third person was not he's not charged in this indictment with these guys. So he's not listed in this one. It's only Gunna and Young Thug that are charged in this one. So whenever you get up there and you state that, yes, I was there, I saw these things, but they weren't mine. Who else?
He didn't say any of those things. Show me what he said. They weren't. Yes, I saw these things. They weren't mine. She asked a question. Were you present? Yes. Yes, I was present.
Yes, and those. So hold on. Let me pull my statements up. Let's go through his statements. All right.
I wish we had the video.
While he's pulling that up, I got a question for you.
Let's go.
At the beginning, you talked about the gang thing and how having a gang is not illegal, correct?
Right.
Okay, so my thing is, even though being in a gang or having a gang isn't illegal, with the prosecution being so heavy on YSL being a gang, how, like, to me, I feel like with Gunna still like admitting, yeah, yes, it's a gang, saying yes, it's a gang. To me, that's still snitching. Like, even though they already know that and it's not illegal, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, like, now, like,
you keep preempting.
I agree with you. I agree with you in this point. It's snitching if I know that the statement is going to be allowed to be used against my co-defendant. But if I know that the statement that I'm using is only going to be used in this scenario, and they cannot, because of Fifth Amendment protections and laws of evidence, get that statement in against my brothers, where's the harm? There's no harm, no foul.
So here's
go ahead. Huh? No, go ahead.
So here's in order for him to get this favorable deal, number one, he was facing up to, what was it, 20 years? Between 5 to 20 years was the range of punishment. He was only listed in that one count. The things that they had him in my opinion, were very, 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 very de minimis. And so for him to have, you don't think so?
No, I was saying nonsense. The things that they had him on was all fluff.
Yes. Yeah. And so for him to have gone through, so this is what he had to do. These are the special conditions of his plea. If he's called by a party to testify, he must appear and testify truthfully. Now, he can still assert his Fifth Amendment rights, but he still has to show up. He must perform 500 hours of community service. At least 350 hours of that is dedicated to denouncing gangs, gang activity, and gang lifestyle. He's not allowed to be around any guns and no new law violations. So, and that's a pretty favorable deal to be facing a RICO count where everybody has, what is it? How many defendants? 20 plus?
I'm a black man. I'm against gang violence as well.
Okay.
Okay. Gang violence as well. It's killing a lot of young black men.
So to get this deal, this is what he had to admit. He was affiliated since 2016 with YSL.
I was signed to the label at 2016.
Okay, but he said YSL is a music label and it's a gang.
That's also evidenced by the other YSL members that have been arrested on gang activity that are not in this case. I'm not saying
you have to say that if that have nothing
to do with it. It's a part of the plea to get me out. Here's the thing: saying what I need to say to get out of jail when I know it's not going to affect my brothers is not snitching.
I don't know yet. So let me go through. All right, the next statement. He has personal knowledge that members of YSL committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Let's stop right there.
That sounds like
we do have personal knowledge. If I go online right now, I can pull up at least 5 YSL members who have committed crimes under gang statutes.
Personal knowledge means you was there, you saw him, and you came and you told somebody.
I know him. I met him before.
But how is this
I met him at a studio. 2 weeks later, he got arrested on gang activity. Yeah.
That's not personal knowledge. That's not what I inferred. That's not what I took away when they said he had personal knowledge.
This is what we're trying to get across above anything else. Inferences.
Yeah.
You can read and infer a bunch of different ways, but if you choose to only read and infer what they telling you, then that ain't the law. But
if you put everything together, what he was facing, the sweetness of the deal that he got, the statements that he was required to make in order to get his deal, the fact that his sentence was commuted, he essentially didn't even have to serve the full year that he was sentenced to, and he's basically, once he finished his community service, his sentence is going to be done. They're basically going to suspend the rest of it. That right there, that's, you had to give up something to get that. Like, that's, you got a lot.
Sound like good posturing and good lawyering to me.
Good lawyering.
Once upon a time, there was a man called Tip Harris. T.I. Tip Harris.
Yes.
In Atlanta. He had what was the equivalent of the Army Reserve in his bedroom. Okay? I'm talking about guns that they ain't even make yet.
Right.
All right? He got charged on the federal level and only did a year and a day. We don't know how he got that great deal. Could be great lawyering. He could have talked. Right?
He still went to prison.
He could have went to prison for a long time.
That is true.
A long time. Right? But if he was in jail while he was fighting that, he would have got that commuted and been out and did the community service and all of that, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying that you don't have a point. It is true. On the other side of it, you got to give to get, right?
Right.
But just based on what we know, All right, we can't put that brother on the cross like that.
I don't know. He said YSL is a gang must end.
And you said snitching is something that snitching is when you're putting your brothers in harm on the stand.
Right. So yeah. In this situation,
not a gang, and you saying it is a gang, and you've already admitted that under oath, and they have that documented.
Well, one, YSL is a gang, but two, me admitting that it's a gang when it cannot be used against you is
well, now you can't get up and say that you're not a gang. You can't argue that.
What?
You can't. Now it makes it harder for him to get up there and present a defense or anything that say no, we're not a gang.
That shouldn't be an argument because it's not because being a gang isn't illegal.
Well, so
what we should be focusing on is was there an agreement?
Yes.
For crimes to be in furtherance of that gang.
Didn't he say yes to that?
He did.
No, he didn't.
Hold on.
Gunna did say yes.
He didn't. He did not say. He said, I have personal knowledge that there were YSL members that committed a crime in furtherance of gang, right?
Is that not the same thing?
No. Show me how that's the same thing. Give me the two statements. Give me two statements right now and show me how this is the same thing.
To me, if you're saying that you have knowledge that there's been crime to further this gang, and you're saying yes, then you're literally admitting that yes, it's a gang who does that furthers crime.
Right. Let's
hold on. Let's get the pull up the full statement, the actual statement.
Pulling that up. All right. I'm gonna pull up. And while you do that, I'm gonna pull up.
Okay. YSL is a music label in the gang, and you have personal knowledge that members of the gang, not the members that are on trial right now, but that members of the gang have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Right.
Yeah.
But remember when they asked him about the music video, he basically admitted that it's a part of the strategies that we don't go to court, we don't testify. And so that goes directly to one of the allegations of witness intimidation.
First of all, let's read that statement because I didn't see that statement. But I will say that the music videos that they were referencing to were for 2017, the 2017 case.
Yeah.
Not this case.
Yeah, that's that. I think that's going to be a whole nother topic that we're going to cover. Just
because they just picked that back up.
Right.
They just picked that up. Now that Gunna is out, they picked that back up. So the Young Thug gonna have to. Yeah, it's gonna be
a lot of lyrics, a lot of their music that was placed in the indictment that they had in here. So they're definitely trying to use that.
Bro, I'm not a fan of using the lyric stuff, and that's a whole other. I mean, people say questionable stuff in lyrics every day,
all the time. Yeah,
all the time, right? So. But
that's basically, I feel like that's criminalizing our culture even further,
100%. Listen, I've never seen this many RICO cases on rappers ever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's a mission that I feel like is trying to tie rap music to the street in a way that they can kind of like knock them all down. But that's a separate topic, though.
Okay. So. The music video that they referenced was the one where he said to take it to trial. And his lyrics is basically the significance of the lyrics is what they're doing now. They take it to trial hoping that witnesses don't show up, getting some witnesses not to show up. These guys are wearing gang colors, throwing up gang signs, using gang language in their videos. And so whenever he comes in there and says, yes, it was a gang, they were committing criminal activity. And if witnesses don't show up to court, here's the reason why. You don't think that's snitching. He's basically explaining to them what these lyrics mean.
I don't think one of the counts that we're being that we're on trial for is witness tampering. So what is my lyrics about not getting witnesses to come in have to do with the fact that you're guilty of a conspiracy for racketeering?
Okay, but why would they ask him that question if it wasn't relevant?
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
State. So, why would they ask that question?
That's what I'm saying. So they're using it for something, and he's.
I'm on the defense side. We asking John. State. Why would they use that question?
So he is charged with threatening a security officer, threatening to shoot a security. Young Thug is. He's as part of his involvement. That is one of the things that they alleged against him.
For this trial?
Yes.
So it's a new charge.
No, so it's one of the under the indictment under count one, when they listed out basically all these series of acts that led up to the RICO. One of the acts that they put in there was him threatening to shoot a security guard in the face with a gun back in what was that, maybe 2015.
For what reason? What was he going to shoot him for?
He said if he approached him or if he came into his space, he was going to shoot him in the face.
Sound like you're a little bit too close in my space. It don't have nothing to do with the fact that you're a witness, and I don't want you to testify against me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I read the indictment, it was shaky. Some of the things that they were mentioning there were very, very shaky.
So shaky. You know why I know it's shaky? Because the feds have not picked it up.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so important. He's filling them.
I have a question for Johnny though.
Yeah.
So Gunna came into YSL in 2016.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys know, but Young Thug's lawyers just did a motion to get things thrown out due to statute of limitation. Do you think that if the things that they are alleging that Gunna said yes to, do you think if those get thrown out, does that change him being a snitch or not? Do you?
No. You already did the damage. It's enshrined with your signature.
You've already done the act, but you've done no damage.
Nah,
you've done no damage.
Are we gonna?
If I go into acquire a padded room,
yeah,
and I yell about all the crimes that we committed together, right?
Yeah.
Even if there's one other person in that room, but when they leave that room, they can't speak on it. Did I snitch on you?
So are we going to define snitching now by the amount of damage that's done?
100%. I'm defined because the entire idea of snitching is that if you give me up, I then I have to do the time, or I'm in trouble, or I am, you know what I'm saying, or I get charged. Whatever the case may be, snitching is only as big as it is because of what it does to the other person.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I'm with you now a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Nah. So if I say something that can't harm you, but we brothers, and that you got to think about it. These are legal tactics. This is not like we outside on the block and I told somebody that you shot one of their brothers and now there's the issue between. You get what I'm saying? That's a way level for the snitching. But the repercussions from the act of speaking is what snitching is all about.
I get what you're saying on that, but okay, so my thing is too though, so you're saying that it hasn't done any harm to Young Thug, but say that he ends up having to take the stand, or two, that Gunna's testimony is one of the reasons, like, is one main thing they have over him, and we don't know that yet, because like you said, we don't know different things. Would that change your mind?
No, for two reasons. Because Gunna, and this is what I'm assuming, that his legal defense kind of cut a catch-all to in his back pocket, right? One, the Fifth Amendment, right, which protects him against self-incrimination. I can get on the stand, and as long as the statement that you're asking me to make would incriminate myself or put me in harm's way, I don't have to speak. As a matter of fact, I don't have to come to court. And in which he said in the during the plea deal in front of the judge and in front of the prosecutor, which makes me wonder, okay, whatever they said, if they would have objected, if he said something about, I don't have no intentions to come to trial, no intentions to testify, and I'm going to plead the fifth. If there was an issue with that, prosecution would have raised an issue there.
So I thought his plea deal stated that if he was called to testify, he had to come back to court. He didn't have to. He could still assert the fifth, but he had to show up, or his sentence could be revoked and sent to prison.
My thing is, why would the statement in court be different then? And if it was, why wouldn't the prosecution have said something?
What do you mean by the? So I could see it playing out under a scenario where
you're the prosecution,
right?
All right, I make a deal with you. Yeah. You tell me that you're still going to reserve the right to call me in trial later.
Right.
We get in the courtroom where we're talking about the plea deal and stating out the facts of it. In that courtroom, I say, I am not coming to trial. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm using my Fifth Amendment privilege. If you had an issue with that, why wouldn't the prosecution have raised it during the trial? I mean, raised it in that plea.
Hold on. I don't think I'm following you. Can you restate?
Okay. All right. So prosecution and Gunna make a deal.
Right.
Right. You're saying that a part of that deal is that they reserve the right to call Gunna in trial.
Correct.
Later on.
Yes.
When we get in court in front of the judge, I say in front of the judge, I'm not coming to court. I have no intentions on testifying.
Yeah.
I'm going to exercise my Fifth Amendment right. If that went against what was in the plea deal, why wouldn't the prosecution have raised an issue right then?
Now that's a good question. That part I don't know, but it could be early, and they don't know if they need him yet. But the fact that they even put that caveat in there, it makes me think that they had some communications with him outside of the courtroom. They sat down with him and his lawyer when they carved out this agreement. They said, "Look, we need to know. You don't have to give us specific details, but we need you to fill in these blanks. We need you to explain this. We need you to point us in this direction." So simply him doing that, and then by him admitting to the things that he is charged specifically in concert with Young Thug, I think that kind of dooms him in that regard, because if he tries to get up there, and so they can't just introduce the plea on his own, but if he tries to admit it, there's ways for them to get around and be able to utilize his statements.
Well, okay, so to go to the first part of your statement, see, it's tricky, man. It's tricky, right? I truly believe that even if they do call him, even if they try to call him to stand, right? If I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege, I don't have to come. If I get on the stand, I can still assert my Fifth Amendment privilege, right?
You got to come, but you can
assert
it on the stand.
I'm sorry?
I said you got to come, but you can assert it on the stand.
You can deny.
If you deny,
the Fifth Amendment allows you to deny. I'm sorry?
I said if you deny, they're going to come pick you up and drag you in there.
All right, let's just go worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, they drag him in there, right? Fifth Amendment, okay? Best case scenario, they can't get him to come. He's unavailable. Confrontation clause.
Yeah.
Right? And so we'll go into just briefly what the confrontation clause allows you to do is that in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to be confronted with all witnesses against him.
Correct. Right.
In this situation, they would be trying to use Gunna as a witness against Young Thug.
Correct.
Right? If he's unavailable, then they can't use his testimony against Young Thug.
Unless he lies.
Unless Young Thug lies. Right?
Right.
But it would have to be a lie or a statement that goes against a statement he made earlier.
The statements that we read for his plea?
No. For Young Thug to lie, it would have to be him lying about a statement that he made. It's not lying if I disagree with the statement that somebody else made.
Now that is true. That is true. A statement or a scenario.
Or a scenario, which is a testimony, which can't be used if he's not in court.
So if he gets up there and says it's only a music label, we're not a gang, where's he going to go with that?
Sure, I might take this. I might take the point that there is a faction of YSL that's a gang. I'm in the part that's the music label.
That ain't what you was doing in the music videos. All in the music videos.
Because it's rap. We got to put on a scenario. We know we selling it's goose. What they call it? Sheep tickets, wolf tickets. We putting on a show here. Okay?
But you don't get to get out the kitchen when it gets too hot. That's not how it works.
We get together. We go. What are the biggest movies of the '80s? Scarface, Goodfellas, Al Pacino's. We love the bad guy.
Yeah.
We love the bad guy. All he's doing is selling tickets, putting on a show for being a bad guy. It's not illegal.
Man, that's wrong. You got all the benefits, all the fruits, all the privileges, all the money, all the women, all the fame, everything. And then when it went bad, you gave everything up. You folded.
I'm sorry. Is that not the American way? What you just said right now, is that not every president, every congressman, every senator, come on, man. But when a black man do it, we want to keep him confined to colloquial arguments. Oh, he's snitching. No, we using the law the way it was supposed to be used, like the white man used it.
Okay.
Like the corporate 500 people use it. Like You get what I'm saying? Like the Brooks brothers use it. Like slave owners used it. Like the institutions use it. Come on, man. Let's play the game.
Man, that's a tough call. What are your thoughts on that, Tanya?
I don't think I agree with him from the jump. I would just being the devil's advocate.
Look,
I don't
man,
think
man.
I think
you don't think
Let's go.
I think he just used the law the right way.
That's one. We're gonna put out a poll after this. All right,
let's go.
That's one.
Kobe.
You said he used it the right way.
I think he used the law the right way. Yeah. The only statement I was iffy on is him saying that it wasn't my stuff. Other than that, I was like, well, they already know that YSL is a gang, which is true. They had already knew that. They already knew the stuff in the car wasn't his. Right. And so I was like, he's just saying yes to things they already know. But
yes to things that he's charged with this guy only. That was my thing. They only asked him about the instances where him and Young Thug were charged together. Those are the only things that he had to acknowledge in his.
But the 2017 case, the third member already took onus for the drugs and the weapons. So when you ask me a question of one, was I present there? Yeah. Right. Two, was it not mine? I already told them that it was mine. So for me to go back on that statement now would put me in perjury, put me in a real situation.
Well, we know he wasn't going to do that anyway.
Right? Exactly. For what? That's what we got. That's what the reality is too. I'm the cash cow. Y'all are tied to me for the money.
Right.
So if I go away, it don't benefit nobody.
That's
you want me to be able to walk away from
him to get out so that he could
100%. Because other than Thug, who else is making money for
Nobody.
Like both their albums did really good. I think Young Thug did 110 something, and then Gunna's did like 80. Obviously, his numbers are going to be lower. I think I feel like if this didn't happen, Gunna's would have went higher than Young Thug's because I think Gunna has better music personally. But they're obviously successful. They're obviously a successful music group outside of all of this. So I do believe that. Like he said, like we don't know the conversation that they had, and I'm like, if they did have a conversation, I think it would be logical for Thug to be like, yeah, get out there, because obviously you can't have it at a standstill, because where's the money going to come in at? And the album he released from jail was terrible.
So you don't think
here's the bigger issue. Here's the bigger issue. We got smaller fish who know too much, and they ain't got no money on their books or none of that. All right, we need to help them.
Okay.
All right, we need to save them, because the reality is. Yeah, Thugger might make he's gonna make some money from the streams or whatever. Right. But it's very limited and it's gonna be slow. All right, Gunna got a 360 deal. So it's 300 ENT and YSL, which is both entities that Thug gets money out of.
Right.
You need him. And about 2 hours prior to his plea deal, the co-founder of YSL, meaning or allegedly, let's say alleged co-founder of YSL also took an Alfred plea deal. But we don't know. We don't know the particulars of his deal though.
But and didn't Young Thug's brother take a plea deal as well?
Did any of them get sentenced to prison?
The co-founder got 10 years.
And his brother did not get sentenced to prison, but he violated his probation. Now he's sentenced to 9 years.
Y'all making your own story look bad, man. Everybody took a deal and went to prison, but this man took a deal and went home. I don't know how that happened.
That's because they violated their own probation. Like everybody was out. Young Thug brother was out, and that's what threw me off. Because I was like, okay, well maybe Gunna is snitching or whatever. Because his brother, the first thing his brother did on social media when he got out, he went on there and was like, my brother don't know nothing about what Gunna did, like basically calling Gunna a snitch. And I was like, okay, well maybe they didn't have a conversation behind closed doors. That was mine.
And maybe it's a ploy to sell albums, because we know controversy sells. It ain't like death, but it sells.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a hell of a ploy. You do that to sell some albums.
Hey, but think about this. What won't you do if you facing 25 years in jail?
That's true.
Sergio Kitchens.
That's what I.
What won't you do? Be for real. And when I say you, I ain't talking about you as a man. I'm talking about you in the standpoint of a 25-year-old that's worth 25.
That's what I told Johnny from the jump. I was like, in Gunna shoes, I'm doing what Gunna did, because like I'm young. I just started popping. Like I just got hot. I'm not about to sit down.
Yesterday I was on a yacht.
Be in the studio.
Yesterday I was on a yacht. Now I'm laying in this bed for a bunch of dudes who don't even really care nothing about my situation or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not using that because it could have been that, Young Thug's attorney talked to Gunna's attorney and they tried to figure out, like, oh, all right, well, look, how can we use, if they were smart, you know what I'm saying? How can we use the system to our advantage?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look, man, good business, man. It's good business.
I don't know, man. I don't.
Free Thugger. Shout out to Gunna. Yeah.
Did you listen to the album?
It was terrible.
Straight like
you didn't like it? Did you listen to Anthony?
What?
Is that his new album?
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
You like Young Thug album?
No, not Young Thug.
I was
Gunna.
gonna say that album was terrible.
Now Gunna is, first of all, he ain't got no features. It's just him. And the boy is snapping. He letting you know that
nobody want to be on that.
He didn't have no choice. Yeah, he didn't have no choice.
So he cleared up.
So what he letting you know is, what I like about it is, he letting you know I didn't need them features.
Man.
I didn't need that production. You know what I'm saying? I was hot. It wasn't Thugger that made me hot. I was hot.
Yeah,
I can respect that.
I don't know if that was the case, man. He should have stayed on his own then, because it seemed like once he came into the circle, they got a mold. Things started to fold after that.
Oh, hey man, look, and it, just like the hold on, there's another situation. Tekashi 6ix9ine or any of these young dudes. Hey, listen, these brothers are artists. All right, the image sells, and they feel like they safe as long until it get real. You know what I'm saying? And shoot, I know even dudes who jumped off the porch and really like that get nervous when you start talking about football numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But imagine I was just on a yacht spending $1 million cash. And now I'm about to sit in this box for who? The fourth dude down the line, I don't even know him. I only met him one time.
But it didn't. When y'all were posting on social media, hanging out, partying, throwing signs all on your IG posts, they got them all in the indictment.
It's all fun then. It's all fun and games then. Man. You know what I'm saying? But think about it. He was probably in the 7th row, all the way in the back. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even get close to him. But now I gotta wear something that you did. Yeah. Listen, as somebody who has street etiquette, I understand it. You know what I'm saying? I don't condone it. You know what I mean? I'm not promoting it or endorsing it. But I understand it.
Right.
I understand it. I understand where these young boys are coming from. I understand that they wasn't built like that. Yeah. How Jay said, they repoed your vehicle. Everything was all good just a week ago. About to start snitching, ain't you? Ready to start and ain't you? I forgive your week. Hustling just ain't you.
Sergio, it ain't you.
That's real.
I think he should he have to give up rap music and rapping about that lifestyle now?
Yes.
Ooh. But what I love about the culture of it is these young kids don't care because they ain't built like that either. True. In the 90s, you had to stand on it because the people that you was rapping to was about that. You know what I'm saying? And they was going to test it every chance they get. But the people that they performing in front of, they faking too. So they like, oh, look, I don't care. Put out good music and I'm going to dance to it.
Yeah, I mean, 80,000, what? You said 80,000 people listen to it? That's
80,000 people in the first week do not care. Okay?
True.
But, and the biggest thing about it is that I would just want to expound upon, and I want the hood to understand, or people to understand is, we got to start looking at the facts, man, and not jumping on the coattails of stories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dive deeper into yourself, because calling somebody a snitch is a life sentence, bro.
Yeah.
Even if he don't go to jail, he can't go through Atlanta. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You put something on that boy's back, and I wrote this on the Instagram the other day, and I was like, yo, imagine stoning somebody to death on a story that you heard, only to find out after he died that you relied on the story but didn't seek the truth.
That's the mob mentality. That's usually how it goes.
That's the court of public opinion. That's in the Bible, let he without sin be the first to cast his stone type situation. Right. Like, oh, just because it sounds good, you want to be seen on the side of all these tough guys. But first of all, where are we getting our information from? And why are they credible? You know what I'm saying? It's rappers telling you that somebody's snitching just because it sounds good and you want to be on, oh yeah, that's my favorite rapper. He said it, so all right.
Yeah. People don't know what they're talking about, and they definitely don't take the time to pull up the stuff, do their research, and form their own opinions. You know, they kind of run with it based off the statement that the video that was out there. I haven't seen the video yet about the statement. Right. So that's I guess what people were running off of, and the fact that, you know, he got out and basically got his sentence commuted. People were running with that. So, you know, it was good that you came up here and presented that argument to help clear his name, though.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, Gunna, hire me next time, dog. I got you.
You still lost.
No, what you say?
No, I was just saying that. Yeah. Hopefully, you know, this will give people some more clarity, at least some more points to debate around. You know, some more informed debates.
Just start talking, having a dialogue, man. Let's start talking about, you know, what's really going on. Even the things that we see. Question what you see, right? All right, the statements. What do the statements mean?
Yeah.
Look at the way the question is formulated. How is he answering the question? You know what I mean? We want to just go off of face value of everything, but if you can dive just a little bit deeper, you can extrapolate some gems, man.
So what do you make of him? Okay, he's only answering their questions, but he doesn't deny it. He doesn't stop them. He doesn't correct them. He doesn't change anything. He agrees with everything that they ask him.
Right. Because I think the way they formulated the questions is weak. I don't got no problem answering was I present?
Right.
If you're gonna ask me remedial questions, that's on you, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's on you. Yeah, I was present. The video camera says I was present. The court document says I was present. The fact that I was in jail says I was present. Why not?
So, you know, he still works for he's still under the YSL label. How do you feel about that? This taking place, him calling it a gang and a music label, and he's still there.
That's why I think that they communicate.
I personally think that if Young Thug got rid of Gunna, then Young Thug is getting rid of YSL.
I mean, it looked like they're about to get rid of him.
If he never steps foot out of jail a day in his life again, or for 25 years, you need Gunna to fulfill his contract obligation. Okay.
I was gonna ask. So we got to see how that unfolds. Whether or not, you know, and whether or not if he ends up getting convicted, if he has to do time, whether or not this was a good ploy for him to continue making money and to continue to keep the label running.
Only time going to tell. But in the bigger scenario, I think the case against Gunna is weak. I mean, Thugger is weak.
Oh man, it's very weak. I read through those. Yeah, it was. They got him on a couple of stolen gun possessions, making hand signals, wearing clothes in videos. Those are the handful. Well, the one serious thing that I did see that they had against him was he rented a car, and about 3 days later, that car was used and somebody was murdered. And then he was making videos and posts with a guy who was supposedly involved in it a couple of days later. So that was probably the most serious thing that I saw him listed in specifically. I didn't see him anything else.
But you can bring that on its own. That ain't enough for a conspiracy.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? This is a monument of nothingness. At this point, they holding dudes just to get people to break.
That's the point that they do use. That was my original thoughts with them wrapping up Gunna in this, is if he really wasn't a part of it, if he really didn't have anything to do with it, they were trying to put pressure on somebody who they knew they could get to that would make the rest of their case easier.
100%. And Gunna got the most to lose. As a matter of fact, he's the only one. Because everybody else go back outside and they broke. They just somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My apologies. My phone is dying.
You're good. We're almost wrapped up here. A couple of more points. Let's see. So just to add some clarification, we've talked about a couple of things here. So regarding what a RICO is, it's they have to prove that they're conspiracy to commit a RICO, and so part of what they're having to prove is these 186 plus allegations that these guys all did was in furtherance of the YSL enterprise. That's what they're calling is the gang, and all these acts, the homicides, the burglaries, the assaults and batteries, the terroristic threats, influencing witnesses. They're saying that was a part of their gang activity, you know, to up their influence in their area as well. So all those things are what they're considering the totality of it, right, to make their case.
Right.
So Do you know this? I don't know if Young Thug is a convicted felon, if he's allowed to be around weapons, because they have him on a couple of gun charges, but none of them say felon in possession of a firearm.
That part I don't know. That
Okay.
part I don't know. I need to research. You would think so. All of the guns he's talking about, all these you know what I mean, the jail time he rap about, but I've never seen any evidence to support it.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of see if I can do a quick Google search real quick.
Let us know what that's about. Man, I just listen. I didn't know they were giving out probation. I'm not probation, but community service for RICO cases.
Yeah.
I didn't find out who his lawyer is. You know, that's a heck of a deal, man.
Hey, listen, lawyer hat off, it's shady. All right, the activities look shady.
Yeah.
It's questionable to people who don't know the ins and outs.
Right.
That's why, you know what I mean, I'm happy that we can, you know, share a platform to be able to break that down.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at people for looking at it and be like, oh, man, because it's on the offset, we've been taught differently, right? And that's only because the rules of the game elude us.
Yeah.
You know, we know about 3-pointers, but you don't know how people. Not everybody knows that you got 5 seconds in the box on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you got, you know, and so those little things,
those little nuances,
those little things move the buck. You know what I mean? And if I could explain that to my co-defendants, and we come up with a plan that we tell them what they want to hear to a degree that it doesn't affect the other person, but gets us out. Oh yeah, by all means. That's what we in it for, right? You know what I mean? That's some mafia type stuff right there, me. You know what I mean? We talking about real like John Gotti, you know what I mean? The family stuff.
So
Young Thug isn't a convicted felon.
You said he's not?
No.
Okay. So he's not. So that makes sense why they kept saying he was around these stolen guns. But that's to me, that's hard to prove. You don't know if a gun is stolen out. Well, some instances you may do, but to me that's a hard one to prove. So we're actually running out of time here. We got a minute left. Do you have any final thoughts, any shout outs you want to give?
Oh man. First of all, shout out to Gunna, man. All right. Hold your head up. I know this situation is crazy, young boy. You know what I'm saying? But I see your plight, you know. To all these young black men that are gang related, street related, you know what I mean, that are making these decisions. I pray that you know, we start to inform ourselves on the things that we're doing. That's surrounding it, right? We don't just go outside, pick up a basketball without knowing what a double dribble is. You know, I'm not you know, condoning or criminal activity or any of that type of things. But let's play the game smart.
Okay. Tanya, any final thoughts?
No.
But I got one.
So that
it's 2-0 right now. You heard?
It's who? No, it's 1-0.
It's 2-0.
It's 1-0 by one.
It's 2-0 right now, man. Trap law. Let's get it.
We appreciate you coming on today, man. That's our time. We're gonna have you back on and continue this and some more conversation, man. We definitely appreciate you joining us this morning, though.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Swerving or slurring, you listen, you learning. Don't get caught up burning. Don't panic while during.